Hello everyone, this is I equals e to the I pi, and this is a video commentary of the semifinal match between NEET and Zero Quantity for the August 2011 Hero Attack tournament. Originally I was going to do a dual commentary with It's Not Butter, but due to various technical difficulties such as a 16-second delay in Ventrilo, we decided to do solo commentaries instead. This semifinal match is a best of 5, so the first team to win 3 games will win the match. The first game will be played on the Forest map, and for each consecutive game, the map will be chosen by the losing team of the previous game, provided that the map they choose has not been played on yet. So a bit about the teams. I watched the quarterfinal matches for each team. Zero Quantity is a team that tends to use Terran. In particular, they tend to use Terran bio, such as the Reaper, the Medic, the Marauder, the Marine, and the Firebat. They have fairly good teamwork and a solid playstyle that utilizes lots of stuns and ganking, but they have very low variation of playstyle, so that might work against them. Team NEET, on the other hand, tend to use Protoss, though they have been known to switch races. In particular, their favorite heroes are the Archon, Dark Templar, and Phoenix. They use a similar playstyle as Team Zero Quantity in that they use a lot of stuns and ganking. So it should be interesting to see two teams with fairly similar playstyles but different races go, have a match against each other. I'm not really sure who will win this match, so this should be fairly interesting. So the first game is on the Forest map. A really important feature of the Forest map is this high ground area in the middle of the map, as you can see here, which intersects 2 lanes. If you can gain control of the high ground area, then it becomes much easier to damage your opponent and avoid damage yourself, since you have a nice position and the vision advantage, since you can't see up high ground. And usually the team that controls the high ground will gain either a mineral or experience advantage over time just due to the good position. So it's generally a good idea to send a ranged hero or a caster hero mid, so that you can help compete for the control and hopefully give your team a nice early game advantage. The special feature of this map is called Mud, and we have 2 mud patches, as you can see here and here. And ground units move at half speed over mud, so that's just something to keep in mind. This map also has various critter spawn locations, such as here, here, and here. And it also has 2 Xel'Naga towers on high ground here and here. And if you can control the Xel'Naga towers, then your team gains a vision, so that's also an important feature. Okay, so back to the game. We see that Team NEET has chosen the Dark Archon, Phoenix, and Dark Templar, while Team Zero Quantity has chosen the Marauder, the Medic, the Firebat, and the Reaper. So both teams have chosen the preferred race and preferred heroes. We see that Team Zero Quantity has decided to send the Firebat mid. I'm not quite sure I agree with that decision, simply because the Firebat is melee, and as a result, it's more difficult to control the center. I prefer to see them send maybe the Marauder mid, and Team NEET has sent the Dark Archon and the Phoenix hero mid. So that's actually quite smart, since they're both ranged heroes that are casters at the same time. We see that Team NEET has listened to my advice and have switched the Firebat, Team Zero Quantity has listened to my advice and switched the Firebat and the Marauder. So it's quite smart, since the Marauder should be much more effective at helping to control the center. So right now we see that all the players are just trying to level up, hopefully get a few kills for minerals, stay in experience range while avoiding damage. And that Marauder is being way too aggressive at level 0. He needs to back up, and yeah, he's going to get trapped, and yeah, takes massive damage. So that was not a very smart Marauder. But that's okay. So yeah, we see that all the heroes are still just, trying to avoid damage and take damage at and deal damage to their opponents to hopefully push them off the lane and gain an advantage. We see that all the heroes have now gained level 1. The Dark Templar hero is choosing Swap, which is a decent first ability since if you're lucky you can pull your opponent into cannons, which can be quite dangerous. We see the Firebat has chosen Napalm Rocket, which is a decent choice since it can help poke the Dark Templar and deal damage to him. In middle, we see that the Dark Archon hero has chosen Sleep, the Marauder hero has chosen Explosive Barrel, Medic has chosen Irradiate, and the Phoenix hero has chosen Void Sphere. And those are decent choices since all 4 of those abilities are damage spells, and damage spells are always useful, especially if you're trying to control a section of your lane. We see that the Archon hero has chosen Psionic Shockwave, and I'm not quite sure I agree with that. It gives you a passive splash, but I would prefer to see Forked Lightning, especially since you're against the Reaper and a bunch of Marines. The Forked Lightning will be better since you could damage the Reaper from afar, and you could also slow the Reaper, which could allow you to gain hits on the Reaper and hopefully push the Reaper off. The Reaper hero has decided to get Gas Mask, which is a good first skill since when you're damaged you probably want to get a skill that gives you life regeneration. The Archon hero is crittering while laning at the same time, which is quite smart since it gives you a nice mineral and an experience advantage. And over in mid we see that the Dark Templar hero has come from bottom to mid, and I don't think that the other team realizes it, and I think they're going to gank the Marauder. Marauder's pulled by a Graviton Beam, stunned by the DT, swapped, put to sleep, and is dead. So the Medic might get away though, so that was quite nice. Phoenix goes back because it was low on energy and health, which is quite smart. We see that the Dark Templar hero is going back to bottom after the gank, and for some reason it's going over mud, which probably isn't the best decision. It's generally better to go over the grass since you don't move at half movement speed. And we see that the Dark Archon is nearly dead. The Dark Archon really should go back. And what? Okay, Marauder hero was using Drop Pod for some reason, even though it just died. That was a bit of a mistake. Looking at items, we see that the Marauder has bought a sensor tower, which allows for, helps you detect. But I'm not quite sure why. I guess he's afraid of the DT, but I mean the DT is at level 2, so I think that's a bit of a waste of early game minerals since since you don't need it this early. It would be better to get other things. We see that all the heroes are still laning, still trying to maximize their experience and deny experience minerals of their opponent. DT is quite damaged, probably due to Napalm Rocket. We can see another Napalm Rocket going off on the DT. Phoenix is fairly low health due to Irradiate and should consider going back soon. But Team NEET has gained control of the center, which is quite helpful. We see that the Archon has teleported back, so that's good for Team Zero Quantity since they now have the Reaper will now gain a slight experience advantage over the Archon hero. Oh, and we see that the Archon hero has decided to buy a Warp Gate, and this just allows you to teleport instantly into the fight. So that's a nice decision. I like that. In middle, we see that the Dark Archon hero is alone. And we see that the Firebat hero is very low health for some reason. I probably missed a fight between the DT and the Firebat. Anyway, Archon is still pulling off critters to gain, try to catch up on experience. Actually, they're fairly even. But I think the Reaper hero is getting wise of that. We see that the Marauder hero has placed a sensor tower there. That's not a very smart decision since it's exposed. And the DT has come mid again to help gank. And the Marauder hero has, I think it's ganked by 3 people. Damn phone. Alright, sorry about that. So the Marauder Hero is being ganked 3v1. The Marauder Hero dies. I'm not quite sure where the medic hero was during that. I guess the medic hero must have gone back to purchase some items. But that's a bit unfortunate for Team Zero Quantity in that they decided to send one of the heroes back to gank. I'm sorry, back to buy items at the same time that the other team decided to gank. We have that the sensor tower dying due to its poor position. It would probably be better to maybe place the sensor tower in the trees or further back, since it has a very good range, but it's fairly fragile. So that was a bit of a waste of a sensor tower. So we have the Phoenix hero teleporting back to heal up and buy items. We have the Archon hero using its warp gate again, showing the usefulness of the warp gate. I'm actually a bit surprised none of the other players on Team NEET have chosen not to purchase warp gates. Not that much is happening right now. We just have various heroes going back to heal and buy items. Various heroes laning, trying to gain experience minerals while denying their opponent experience minerals. And we have the Dark Templar coming from bottom to mid, and the Phoenix as well. I guess they might be attempting to try to gank this medic hero 3v1, so the medic hero might die if it's not careful. But we have the Marauder hero coming mid using a drop pod to get there extra fast, so that was quite smart since the medic might have been ganked 3v1. I'm not quite sure what the DT is doing. I guess he's just waiting for an opportunity to gank, but I mean, he's only level 4, and if he just sits there the entire game, then he's going to fall behind in experience and minerals. Firebat hero, trying to kill these cannons. Maybe could be more aggressive. Reaper hero and Archon hero are competing for middle. Archon went back to buy items. The Marauder hero bought another sensor tower, which doesn't really make sense since you don't really need it, since the DT is still low level. It appears that the other team is trying to gank the Marauder and the medic 3v2. Looks like the medic will die, or maybe the medic might escape. Oh, nice swap. So the medic dies. DT gets away, uses his teleport, so gets away with like 40 hit points. So that was actually quite nice by the other team. The bunker for one of the bunkers for Zero Quantity has gone down already. Another sensor tower dies. I really feel that Zero Quantity, or especially this Marauder hero, is just buying way too many sensor towers when you don't need them, and you could spend early minerals on something else. And when the DT is only level 4, you don't really need to get sensor towers yet. So here we have the Archon laning alone. It appears that the Reaper hero is crittering, which might be smart since you're getting experience, but at the same time he's going to allow this bunker to be exposed and killed by the Archon hero. Yet another sensor tower being purchased. I really don't understand this. I mean, the DT only has like invisibility level 1, so it really is a bit of a waste. It appears that Team NEET has taken map control of the middle, and both bunkers in the middle have died, so that puts them in a fairly good position. Looking at the levels, we see that experience-wise, the teams are fairly even. So I think that that Team NEET has a slight mineral advantage. Looking at items, we see that they've just been purchasing various passives. So the items aren't that interesting right now. Yet another sensor tower dies, so that's quite a bit of a waste. The Firebat hero might get ganked 2v1, so he should be careful. The Dark Archon hero is pushing mid.